You were the first person to see me naked, not just in body, but in spirit. I had never felt so exposed, yet so safe. It was as though I was trusting you with every piece of me, and you held that trust with such gentle hands. I didn't just strip away my clothes, I stripped away my insecurities, my fears, and in that moment, you didn't look at me with judgment, but with warmth. The first time you saw me naked, I felt a mixture of vulnerability and liberation. There's something about standing before someone completely bare that makes you feel so exposed, yet strangely empowered. You saw every part of me, yet it was you who made me feel complete. Now I find myself reflecting on the way you looked at me, not with curiosity, but with understanding. You were the first person to see me naked, not just physically, but emotionally. It wasn't just about skin, it was about allowing myself to be seen in the rawest form, vulnerable and unguarded. You didn't just witness me in my most exposed state. You accepted every part of me, and that made me feel more beautiful than I ever imagined. I didn't know what it meant to be truly naked until you saw me, not just in body, but in every thought, every feeling, everywhere I had been hiding. Being naked with you wasn't just physical, it was a moment where my soul stood bare, and in that moment, I felt more free than I ever had before. You were the first person to see me naked, and what I felt was far beyond physical. It was like you were seeing into the deepest parts of me, parts I never showed to anyone, not even myself. And instead of turning away, you embraced me completely, wholeheartedly. I felt a peace I didn't know I was craving. The first time you saw me naked, I was nervous, unsure of how it would change us. But then you looked at me with kindness, as if you were seeing me for the first time. I realized then that being seen, truly seen, isn't about the body, but about feeling accepted and loved in the most vulnerable spaces. I never understood the power of being fully exposed until you were the first to see me naked, not just in the literal sense, but in every emotional layer. You didn't just look at my body, you looked at my soul, and in that gaze, I found a sense of belonging I never knew existed. You were the first person to see me naked, and for once, I didn't feel like I needed to hide. There was something so raw about the moment, something that made me feel more connected to you than I ever had before. It wasn't about the physicality, it was about the trust and intimacy that came from revealing all of me. The first time you saw me naked, I thought it would feel awkward, but instead, it felt like freedom. It was like shedding a layer of fear I didn't even know I had. You saw me in a way no one else had, and in that gaze, I felt more understood and accepted than I ever thought possible. You were the first person to see me naked, and in that moment, I realized how much we keep hidden from the world. But with you, it was different. It wasn't about physical attraction, it was about emotional exposure. And somehow, in being fully seen, I felt more powerful than ever before. The first time you saw me naked, I thought it would be a moment of pure vulnerability, and it was. But it also became a moment of connection, of intimacy that transcended the physical. I was no longer afraid to be seen for who I am because you made me feel like I was worthy of love and acceptance. When you were the first person to see me naked, it wasn't just a physical experience, it was an emotional one. For the first time, I felt like I didn't need to hide anything, that I could just be. And in that freedom, I discovered something beautiful: the ability to be truly myself with someone who saw me completely. You were the first person to see me naked, and in doing so, you didn't just see my body. You saw my fears, my desires, my vulnerabilities, and you didn't flinch. You embraced them. That moment marked the beginning of something deeper than physical attraction. It was the start of true emotional intimacy. The first time you saw me naked, I was unsure of how I'd feel afterward. But instead of shame or embarrassment, I felt something profound: connection. You didn't just look at my body, you saw my heart, my soul, and in that, I felt more loved than I ever thought possible. When you saw me naked for the first time, it was more than just a physical experience. It was a spiritual one. You saw me completely in a way no one else had. And in that, I found a sense of peace, as if I had finally allowed someone to see all of me and they didn't turn away. You were the first person to see me naked, and I felt exposed, yes, but I also felt liberated. There's a strange kind of freedom that comes with revealing yourself to someone who accepts you fully without judgment. That moment made me realize how powerful vulnerability can truly be.